Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Anne Charles. That's it. Anne Charles. That's your name.
That's my pseudonym.
Oh, very nice. Okay, is that what is that? What I'm gonna call. I'm gonna call you Anne. That's it.
Yes, and
Okay.
it's partly my name. So I diversed it because I had children when I got started, and I knew some people, other authors that were having trouble by using their real names. So
Ah.
I used part of my name, and my brother is my illustrator and cover artist. His name is Charles. So we kind of combined it.
Let's not give away too much. Let's keep things under wraps.
Okay.
First of all, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. I'm working with a guy who has years and years of experience in radio. And he described radio as being like the theater of the mind. And so we are going to look at your photographs. I'm going to look at them, discover you through your photos. And then that way discover who you are and and also what's important to you and where you want to focus people's attention, because maybe that'll change from one day or week or month to the next. But when you thought about this podcast and you thought, okay, well, so you curated a little journey for us, and I am super excited. So huge thank you.
You're welcome. Well, it was fun. I really hesitated because it's so different from many of the podcasts I do where we're really focusing on the books, and this was kind of more on me and what I like to share, with others. So this was really fun to put it together.
Okay, good. We haven't done this, so maybe you'll hate it. By the end of the conversation, you'll be like, this guy's an idiot. But we'll see.
I don't think so.
Let's go to the first photo.
Okay.
It's a photograph of you holding up. First of all, you're in a beautifully lit room. It's a very nice image. You're covered in what looks to be splashes of either icing sugar or flour. You're wearing a really nice black sort of baker's cap. It's black though, because usually they're white. Mm-hmm. You're wearing a black with white, very fine polka dots, white polka dots shirt. You're holding up a book. It says Anne Charles, and let's see, Dearly Departed in Deadwood. Is that right?
Nearly departed. Yeah,
Nearly departed in Deadwood.
With the names on the titles.
Sweet. Okay. Your apron says "Life's Short, Moon the Cook."
Yep.
In your right hand, you've got a cookie tray, and what looks like very black, dark. I mean, it could be squid ink. Meatballs.
Cookies.
Cookies.
Bird
Okay.
Cookies. Yeah.
Bird cookies. Very nice. And then on the table in front of you is a pile of books.
Right.
So, Anne Charles, take it away. What is this?
So, whenever I write, because it's such a sedentary profession, and I'm not naturally thin, I am always wanting to eat. It's like give me food while I write. And I'm always, it seems like, on a diet when I'm writing a book, because I'm in between book signings. So I've come home, I've eaten more, enjoyed life, and now I have to diet again to get back and get ready to get back out there with the next book tour. So when I write the books, my stories, I often include food. And it's not like they're cooking mysteries at all. It's just the people eat all kinds of food. And long ago, I've written over 30 books. And long ago, my readers started noticing, you really like to, what is this recipe? What is this thing called? Give me the recipe for this. And two wonderful readers that have become friends volunteered to help me create a cookbook based on all the recipes from those books that you see in front of me in the picture. And so they went through them, combed through them, pulled out the recipes. They did a lot of the work of finding recipes, trying and experimenting and putting it together. And then we pulled quotes from the different books to show where the recipe was used and in what book. And we made a cookbook. And we also took some people, if you wanted to submit some recipes, some readers that wanted to be part of it, they could submit it. So that's what
Wow.
the cookbook, that is the cover for the cookbook. And what I like to, the reason I wanted to share it was not only is it's the combination of all the things, it shows, all the different books, kind of you can get a glimpse of some of the books that I write and what the
Mm-hmm.
covers look like. And as for me, yes, it is flour. The cookies are truly burnt. Burned them. And everyone who follows me on Facebook or different social medias, for the most part, quickly learns that I am not a good cook. I'm not great at it at all. I struggle with eggs, and I can do it so the kids won't starve. But
I had no idea you were such a weirdo. I love this.
so my husband cooks and he's marvelous. He used to work in a restaurant long ago. Now he
Nice.
co-writes with me, but so we thought it would be a lot of fun to have me on the cover with these burnt cookies because all my readers know I'm horrible at this. This is not what I do.
By the way, okay, let's give these cookies justice. They're not just burnt. These are gloriously charred. I mean, this is pure carbon. Anybody
Uh-huh.
who wants to learn about coal should take a look at this photograph and say, I
Ex-
don't know how you created that, but
My husband did it on the grill. Again, see, he's the cook. He did it for me and helped me do that. And then the whole moon, the cook. So
Mhm.
one of the books, it was I think number 11 in my Deadwood series, mystery series, or maybe earlier. One of the funny older guys in it, he had an apron that said "Life's Short, Moon the Cook," and
Mm,
so we decided to name the cookbook after that. He's one of the
so good.
fan favorites. And those two that help me with the cookbook, they also have a great printer and they can make all kinds of things, such as the apron and the hat. So we made a
Great.
bunch of those when we released it. And it's not a wide release, it was a limited Christmas thing. I think we had 200 to 300 and we
Hmm.
sold out pretty quickly. And you could buy the apron or the hat too. And so that was
Wow.
that. And then to finish it off, the polka dot shirt, those are my pajamas. So I wanted it to be
Nice.
casual,
Hmm.
and readers to feel like, yeah,
Is that in your house?
and that's our kitchen, our red kitchen.
Beautiful.
Thanks. We love colorful stuff. So
Yeah.
we moved into a beige house and we just started painting colors all over.
Mm.
So that's the story of that.
That's great. Way to start. Okay, so I have to rewind a little bit. So
Okay.
you've written 30 plus books.
Right.
How old were you when you wrote your first book?
Well, and I wrote 7 before the first one published, and number
Oh,
8 was the
okay.
one that. So 8 was the first published. The previous 7 are they go from pure disaster to okay to hey, we're almost there to I think she's got it, to
Mm-hmm.
that we
Mm-hmm.
published. So that was back in the late 1990s into the early 2000s. I was also having my 2 children in
Wow.
2005 and 2007 and a full-time job and finishing college. I took the long doctor path to get a 4-year degree, type of
Wow.
thing. So I had a lot going on. Married, like I said, a full-time job as a technical writer. So a lot went into before I first
Mm-hmm.
published in 2011. And like I said, that was book 8 that I published. It
Wow.
wasn't the first or the second. And I'd had some progress with getting an agent and publishing interest, but then no, we don't think your audience is going to be big enough, for different reasons. It's in the Midwest, and
Right.
so there'd been a lot in between, before
Mm-hmm.
that first book was published, but since 2011, then it's been over 30.
You have quite the production. I mean, maybe this comes from the training as a professional writer, but you seem just from the few moments that I've known you now, you're very well. You're hilarious, but you're also
Thanks.
quite decisive. Like in how you speak. You're very on point. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, and how does that come out in your writing? Like, how much hesitancy and how much pause do you have in producing a manuscript?
Well, I used to write faster because I was so hungry to get out there to get things.
Mm.
So I wrote books, I write longer books. They're 120 to 130,000 words, so they're not like 60.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wish I wrote shorter books because I could publish much faster, but my brain wants to tell a big story, so we take our time and tell a big story. So now it takes me, 4 to 6 months to get a book out. And that's
Wow.
if, the older I get, more things affect me in life with family. So I've slowed down a little bit more, but I hope to get going again here soon and speed back up. But anyway, it takes me a while. I also write humor. That's one of the mainstays of, the stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really thought about how difficult humor can be until another wonderful writer, and she writes humor too. She said to me, "Do you realize how hard it is to write what we write and make people laugh? Have you ever, thought about that?" And I said, "Well, not until now." Now
Mm-hmm.
you've made me realize, oh no, I was just telling the story how I would want to hear it. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times as I write, I'll write a quick first draft of a chapter and then I'll go through it and start polishing it. I equate it to it's black and white at first, and then I start coloring in spots until
Right.
I hit it. And when I'm almost done with that chapter, I will have gone through it several times and I'll read it aloud because I'm looking for the cadence
Sure.
for how things fall. Because when you're writing humor, you got to make sure the joke works,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then I send it off to about 10 to 12 people who I call my first draft crew. And they read a chapter and get back with me, and each has a different job. One of them tells me, what made her laugh. The other tells me if I was consistent with the rest of the series, if I
Right.
screwed up and turned somebody's eyes a different color. So I have a really
That's a
big
huge team.
process. Yeah, that's just first draft. Then it comes
Wow.
back, I put them in. And of course, my husband is my very first draft reader because he tells me, nobody tells me like it is, but
Mm-hmm.
besides him, he'll really give me the full, no, this isn't working, or, oh, this was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So I put in their edits. I go through it again. I send it to a professional editor. She gets back to me. I take and put her edits in. I go through it again. I send it to my beta crew, which is anywhere from 30 to 50 people, depending on how
Oh,
many I
wow.
want to pull. And they read it, and they have read the series, most of them. Sometimes I pull a new one in that's never read anything, so she can see, or he can see, how book 11 feels without having read anything else. And then comes back, put their edits in one more time, and then we upload it, publish it.
That's great. I love that somebody who doesn't know anything about this stuff is going to listen to this and all of a sudden kind of have a really much clearer sense of wow, how the process works. And I mean, you're a machine. Amazing. You're amazing.
Well, I had to develop it early on. I learned I didn't want to initially be an indie author. I wanted to go with a bigger publisher,
Mm-hmm.
and I went through all the hoops. And like I said, I had an agent, and I tried to do everything I could to get in, but I couldn't pick a genre back
Mm-hmm.
in the mid 2000s, and the publishers would say, what are you doing here? Are you writing humor? Are you writing mystery? Are you
They
writing
want to
some
pigeonhole you,
romance?
yeah.
Yeah. And I couldn't do it. I would say, well, they'd go, well, at least give us, 60% of this, or they had all these weird percentages in the boxes to fit in. And I said, I can't, this is what comes
Mm-hmm.
out, this is the story I want to read. So this is what comes out on the page. And fortunately, time quickly changed and mixed genre became something people like to read and people sought out. And with the Amazon and all the other online vendors, you could pick multiple, so you weren't on a bookstore under mystery only. You
Yeah.
could be mystery, you could be paranormal, you could be, Western, whatever you wanted to be, all mixed
Nice.
together, and people could find you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to use that as the funny segue to the next photo.
Okay,
You down?
I'm ready.
So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe,
and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.